All right, let's get started here. So, Andrew Tate and Benjamin Button. Anyway, yeah, Ben Shapiro, I guess, decided to call out Andrew Tate. He's done a couple of light call outs of Andrew Tate before. One of the things that bothers me, though, is that it's kind of like too little too late. Like, yeah, we know Andrew Tate's a grifter. It's like, you know what I mean? And in my opinion, and I like Ben Shapiro generally. I don't agree with like any of his politics, but I generally like Ben Shapiro. I don't like the fact that he decided to wait until now. And to me, it's obviously it has something to do with like really disconnecting with Candace Owens, because Candace Owens and Andrew Tate had like a little bit of a relationship, and now it just kind of feels like out of place. I don't know, but whatever. I'm still curious about the video. Let's just get this started. Thank you so much, Mike Klum, for the $10. Papa, go ahead. Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Let's see what we got here, though.
There are a few things in life where if somebody tells you those things, you know 100% that they are a grifter. They are a con man.
Yeah.
They're trying to con you into something.
Yeah.
The most obvious sign of a con
Is Nicolas Cage in Con Air.
artist is somebody who's telling you that a well-known, well-worn truth, something that is absolutely irrefutable, is not true. They know better.
What's the truth?
They know better because they've seen through the Matrix. They've seen through that truth. That truth is actually a mask for the underlying reality. Now, it may be that there are some widely held notions that are untrue, but in order to debunk those notions, you would actually have to show why your notions are better. However, if you are the kind of person who suggests, for example, that hard work is useless, I have a better way. That better way is going to earn you fast money without a lot of work, without getting yourself educated, without putting in the hours, without developing a skill set. That person is conning you.
Yeah, of course. It's called a get-rich-quick scheme. Yeah, we've known this. Why haven't you talked about this like the multiple other times you've talked about Tate? Like, I think the biggest disagreement that Ben Shapiro had with Andrew Tate was when like October 7th, when everything happened with Israel-Palestine, or I guess it happened again, right? When that started becoming an issue again. That was his big call out. But before that, he was upset with Andrew Tate because Andrew Tate said he would rather sleep with like a 10 out of 10 trans woman than a 2 out of 10 cisgendered woman. It's like, what, these criticisms are they just come so late. I don't. So what's the point anymore?
Are lying to you. If somebody were to tell you, for example, that there is an easy way for you to get absolutely fit with no exercise and eating trash, that person would be lying to you.
Unless they develop this thing that puts somebody's brain into somebody else's body for like a limited amount of time. Like, imagine somebody else could control your body, and then they could go to the gym for you, and then like you wake up from a nap and you're like head wise, and it's like, oh man, I feel so sore. Wouldn't that be freaking cool? Incredible. Thank you so much, N Wiser, for the $5. Mike, when can we expect the next documentary? Good question. Yeah, when do we have the interesting EDP documentary?
Person would be conning you because obviously you need to eat healthy and do exercise if you want to be in shape. And the biggest one of all, he's been held true.
I do. Well, that explains a lot, huh?
By pretty much every griftery movement of the last couple of centuries is the idea that you should not get married, that marriage is bad for you, that somehow marriage is going to ruin your life. Now, there are a lot of problems with the current legal structure of marriage. I agree with that critique of the current legal structure of marriage.
Marriage is cool. I like it.
Fault divorce is one of the worst things that ever happened to Western civilization.
I disagree. No fault divorce is a good thing. I think that I like marriage. I like the concept of people getting married and love. I love love. But no fault divorce is not a bad thing. No fault divorce makes it so that either party in the situation can divorce their abusive partner. That's really what it boils down to. Or I guess not just abuse, but it can get divorced from like anything. Like if they're unhappy, I don't think that two people should forcefully stay together for not being happy. All it is that you do not have to prove that the marriage is coming to an end because of something that is the other spouse's fault. That's pretty much all it is. Very basic. I think that's fine. I mean, I don't think you should have gotten married in the first place. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's good to permanently stay together with somebody that you're miserable with. It's going to lead to increased like chances of abuse. You're going to raise your kids like shit. They're going to pick up on how much you guys hate each other. I don't see the productive value or nature of getting married to somebody or staying married to somebody that you don't really love. It's interesting. Like, I think it's also a very bizarre idea that you're going to find who you want to be with forever. When you're a kid, when you're like 18, 20 years old. It's just very unlikely that you're going to find somebody and grow old with that person. So I don't have an issue with it. I think that the problem with no fault divorce is that it changes the way people need to engage with marriage. They actually have to make sure they're in love. And it's very difficult because a lot of people's parents weren't in love and they had you, but then they forced themselves to stay together, and then they weren't very happy together, but then you picked up on their toxic traits because you could pick up on the fact that they were unhappy. And now you don't really know how to love correctly. You don't know what it means to love. You didn't have a good example of love. You know what it's like to stay with somebody you're miserable with, but you don't really know how to be in love. And I think that that's probably the bigger issue. So we have to adjust to that.
Marriage is a commitment. That commitment is lifelong. There should actually have to be a really, really, really good reason why you are divorcing, and that's particularly true if you have children, because, of course, marriage is designed as the fundamental building block of institutional society. It is the place where children are reared. It is the place where you produce children in the first place, and children require stability. It is from those fundamental building blocks.
Sure, I agree, but you're not going to have much stability in a miserable relationship. Thank you so much for the 5-month small gut from CLE. Any plans to watch Patrick CC video? Maybe not today, but eventually.
Of civilization. The little platoons, as Edmund Burke called them, that you can actually build a functional free civilization, which is why every griftery movement of the last couple of centuries has assaulted the family from the outside. So, for example, Karl Marx, very big on assaulting the family. The Communist Manifesto famously...
Oh shit, he's calling Tate a fucking communist. Oh my god.
...suggests abolition of the family. Why? Because the family is a place where you might learn bourgeois values. It's a place where you might be inculcated into things like responsibility, duty, church. These
duty. That goes in the toilet.
are all very bad things according to the Marxist movement. Which is why the Communist Manifesto says, on what foundation is the present family, the bourgeois family, based? On capital, on private gain. In its completely developed form, this family exists only among the bourgeois. But this state of things finds its complement in the practical absence of the family among the proletarians and in public prostitution. And so blowing up the family would allow for a better world. Don't get married. Fight the fight. Blow up the traditional institutions that actually support a functional society and fight the fight. This is also why today the New York Times has an entire article titled Lessons from the 20-Person Polycule. Because the New York Times...
20-person polycule. I mean, listen, people are going to experiment with non-monogamous relationships, and they're not going to work for most people. And then people are going to go, they're going to stop being all crazy. I tried non-monogamous relationship once for a while. Doesn't really work out very well. Okay. But, you know, learn through experience. Try your thing. Do what you got to do, I guess. That's my advice. I mean, I don't think it's that... Like, that's one of the things is that society kind of shifts back and forth as a pendulum in different directions, really. So one interesting idea comes up. Some people might gravitate towards the idea, go, oh, this is cool. Let me experiment. And then it doesn't really work out for most people. That's pretty much where it boils down to.
Also wishes to destroy the fundamental basis of Western civilization, namely the family. And they wish to do this because they wish to build something new atop the ruins. They wish to create a society of atomized individuals who then can be molded and shaped according to the whims of the New York Times. Because once you're isolated from other human beings...
I don't think it's that deep. I think that the people want to feel like a little freer, and they think that this is the solution. Then I don't think it's... It's just the undertone of a conspiracy. I don't think New York Times gives a singular fuck whether people are in committed relationships or not. I think that really they're just worried. They just want to make money. So they're going to give you like some kind of like a little bit of a risque, provocative headline that's going to trigger conservatives. So
once you have no duty to your family, once you have no duty to kids, once you have no duty to the community that's built upon those families, well, then we can militarize you in any possible direction, which is why you've seen so many left-wing outlets lately pushing for polyamory. In the
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Same way that the Communist Manifesto once pushed for polyamory and the holding of all sexes in common.
Okay.
So, for example, today the New York Times says, quote, the word polycule is a synthesis of polyamory, engaging multiple romantic relationships, and molecule. It's not clear when the word was coined, but it seems to have started catching on around 15 years ago to suggest an intricate structure formed of people with overlapping deep attachments, romantic, sexual, sensual, platonic. It's difficult to describe a polycule. Words like family and network are used, but neither on its own captures it. Perhaps it's best left to a polycule to offer descriptions. These are the voices and images of people who are part of a polycule in the Boston area. Katie says the polycule is like this weird family. Anne says, it's a chosen family. It works like complex kinship networks.
It just sounds like they're talking to a family of people that probably aren't going to work out. Who cares?
Work. Only a little kinkier. It reflects radical queer values.
Okay.
Well, I mean, of course it does. Of course it does. Because the basic idea...
This is so unhinged. He's putting so much energy into polyamory. That's not really that deep.
Idea of the left is that every single person is basically a malleable widget violating the strictures of the evil society, right? This is part of the big con. The big con is the idea that there are things like gender roles, and these gender roles are rooted in biology. But if you can see through that immutable truth, then you will have destroyed the matrix. This is the perspective of the left, and this is why they fight.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there are gender roles that are rooted in biology, and then some gender roles aren't, right? Like, I mean, things are shifting a little bit now that women are working. And men have to come to the table a little more, so some of those gender roles are shifting a little bit. Things, it used to be like the wife takes care of the kids like pretty much 100%. and the husband just takes care of the money. Now that has to be a shared responsibility. I don't think it's that deep, though.
Fight the family. This is also why children have basically become, to this group of people, a tote bag. It's something that you occasionally have in order to manipulate in a particular form or fashion. But this is not restricted to the left. The attack on the family is not, unfortunately, restricted to the political left. All grifters, all con men have to take immutable truths, and they have to attempt to subvert those immutable truths in favor of something only they have uncovered. Something incredible that you never knew about. And if only you take that red pill, then you'll know it. You'll know it. And then you'll be rich. You won't have to do hard work in order to be rich. You won't have to be a good person in order to attract a good mate. You won't have to spend the time raising your children in order to be a successful man. They've discovered the secret. The leader on this side of the movement.
I feel like in the past, men didn't really raise their kids. I mean, they would make money and come home and like talk to their kids, but like the wife would raise their kids. So even saying that, I feel like is a little bit of an admittance that things are shifting.
Is, of course, Andrew Tate. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, the cost of living has already increased 17% this year and continues to rise despite interest rate controls. Now more than ever, you need to be confident in the financial services companies you work with. And Birch Gold is the proven industry leader you want on your side. They show you how precious metals investments can fortify your lifestyle and your retirement even in turbulent economic times. Birch Gold understands that.
I don't think cost of living went up 17% this year. What is he referencing? Pretty sure it went up 3.2%. It's still a lot, but
Navigating financial decisions can be intimidating. If you're considering converting an existing retirement account into a precious metals IRA, their dedicated in-house IRA department is there to guide you.
That must be in like one aspect, and he's being over the top on that.
Birch Gold values your questions and concerns. Their team is always available to provide answers and clarity. Whether it's about fees, taxes on rollovers, or the timing of the process, they're here to ensure you feel heard and informed. Text Ben to 989898 to talk to one of Birch Gold's experts and claim your free info kit on gold. You'll learn how to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. The best part is it's not going to cost you a penny out of pocket. Just text Ben to 989898. Again, text Ben to 989898 to get started with my friends over at Birch Gold. Get all the information, then think about investing just a little bit of money in precious metals. Text Ben to 989898 to get started. Andrew Tate, who got his start as a provocative reality TV star, who then started a webcam business grooming women into sex trafficking.
Oh, finally. I mean, these allegations have been out there for a while, and I know a lot of people, well, there's some people that are like, no, they're just allegations. That's fine if you don't want to actually look into what's out there. Like, that's fine that you want to say that. But, I mean, it's about goddamn time. What bothers me is that I know Ben has believed this for a while. I mean, ever since they had Andrew Tate on the Daily Wire, or Candace Owens' show, like you could see how like disingenuous it was. And the biggest issue was that Andrew went on there and he's like, I'm being sued for because of TikToks that I made. I had girls make TikToks. It has nothing to do with anything else. There are no girls out against me. It's all TikTok. If you just read the lawsuit, whether you think it's real or not, the lawsuit is there are girls that came out against him, and it's over his webcam business. So it's like we've known this for a while. It's like, what's the motivation to talk about it now, Ben? You've known about it now. If anything, your silence in this case was kind of showing that you were complicit in some capacity because you knew this the whole time. This isn't an all of the sudden, like, let me speak out against this. This is I don't want to upset some of my own audience because there's probably some overlay. Let me speak cautiously. So it just comes off as very weak. As weak of a man as Andrew Tate is, if you even want to call him that. I mean, I would argue, Ben, you're being weaker here. So,
actively, and that is according to his own admission.
Thank you so much for the $2 from Dummy Durs. Hey, Frank Hassel, love the stream. Keep it up. Thank you. Okay, thanks. That's
how he made his money. Whether he says that they were groomed or not groomed, the reality is he groomed women into getting into the webcam industry, which is pornography.
Yeah, he did it. He took away their passports. There's a lot of information. I'm tired of going over it over and over again. There's so much information about Andrew Tate and the fucked up shit that he did. Go watch Willie Mack videos on Andrew Tate. It's unironically has some of the best information available for it.
Well, Andrew Tate has this. This is his game. His game. Andrew Tate has been incredible.
Or watch my reactions to them.
Incredibly popular online for a reason, which we'll examine in a moment.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different reasons. I mean, one reason is because a lot of young men are feeling a bit disenfranchised. Let's be real. There is a level of some branches of online feminism. We'll call it TikTok feminism, is hateful towards young men, and so I'm saying in some instances bullying young men, and that's making young men upset, of course, because they're people too. Men are people too, guys. And he's saying hey, he's showing a perception of strength. Except his perception of strength is, taking advantage of and controlling women. But nobody else is really talking about how young men are feeling, out of place, out of touch. There are struggles that young men are going through that are a little bit different than women. Or I would say, for instance, money. it's a fundamental to everybody. Everybody's it's tough for everybody money wise, but there's generally a higher expectation that men financially provide. So that's something that kind of disproportionately impacts men, right? That's one of those. So yeah, he's been able to take advantage of that. He's taking advantage of the fact that nobody really cares. Like, the public narrative is screaming at young men, which is just like kind of a bully group at a certain point. So
number one, Andrew Tate is very entertaining. He's entertaining because he explodes the myths. But the way that he quote unquote explodes the myths is he plays a really stupid game. It's a game for stupid people. The game is like this.
He's going in.
I'm going to say two transgressive things that violate the taboos of the culture around me. One of those things is true, and one of those things is false. But because they are both transgressive, and because people will oppose me on both of them, one for bad reasons and one for good reasons, this means that I have somehow gotten under the skin of the Matrix. Everyone opposes me, which is why I'm a rebel. That's Andrew Tate's entire game. So he will say things like feminism.
I mean, I think he really just likes to be very provocative for attention, but okay.
Has ruined men by usurping the male role and robbing men of their initiative. That is a true thing. That is a
I disagree. Like I said, there's like TikTok. And when I say TikTok feminism, it's a bunch of young girls on TikTok crying. Like, you know what I mean? People will take an identity and they will weaponize it in general and turn it into a hate group. That's really what it is. Feminism fundamentally is not a bad thing. Hey, women want to work. Oh, okay. So that they don't have to be, under the thumb of men. Oh, okay, cool. It's not like this deep-seated destroy all men issue that we're trying to pretend that it is. That's what it boils down to fundamentally, though. But okay. Thank you so much for the $2 from Koftel. Making juice at work, listening to Papa. Whole Foods. Nice. Very pogger. You work at Whole Foods? Is juice a whole food, though?
A true thing that is not politically correct to say. Then he will say another transgressive thing that is absolutely false. Like, for example, women love it when you treat them like garbage, and you should treat women like garbage, and dominant men are the
That's true. That is true. Women like to be treated like shit.
Kind of men who treat women like garbage. That is not a true thing. It's a transgressive thing.
Base?
And it's transgressive specifically because it's evil. It is a bad thing to say. It is a bad thing to think. Women should not
based alert, in my opinion.
be treated like trash. And good women do not want to be treated like trash. And you treating women like trash is not going to make your life better, and it's not going to make their life better. But it is a transgressive thing to say. It is taboo.
Hey, it's going to make me feel better, dude.
And so Andrew Tate has violated so many taboos, and he can get away with it because, of course, the rules don't apply to him. He's a Nietzschean Ubermensch because he is very, very buff, and because he works out a lot, and because he smokes cigars. And this means you should listen to him. You should listen.
This is like fucking so nerdy, dude. It's so weird because like I guess I kind of generally agree with him, but he just sounds like such a fucking dork. He just sounds like a worked up dork. I don't know. Candace must really be getting him.
To him, in fact, so much that you should pay him $49.99 a month to join Hustlers University, where you will learn other secrets. Like, for example, you don't need hard work and initiative in order to really get ahead. You can learn.
You can get ahead from one of your bitches for a couple of bucks. You know what I'm saying, dude?
His magical methods for making lots and lots of money. You can own a Bugatti, just like Andrew Tate owns a Bugatti. And all you have to do is listen to his magical business advice, which explodes.
And if it doesn't work for you, it's your fault, bro. I've seen him say that. It's kind of funny.
All of the Matrix. Explodes the matrices of truth. The immutable truth. Now, why am I talking about Andrew Tate today? The reason I'm talking about Andrew Tate today is because
I really don't know why. What was your motivation for finally talking about this the correct way? Way too late.
Andrew Tate, again, playing the two transgressive things, one true, one false game, has over the past few months said some true things and then said a lot of false things, all of them transgressive. Right? So the true thing that he has said is he said, quote, I pray Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. Okay. I agree with literally every word of that Andrew Tate statement.
Wouldn't you? What about Judaism? Wouldn't you be on more of that side?
That Christianity ought to regain its strength and protect its society against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. I agree with all of those things, actually. Okay. Then Andrew Tate will put out tweets like the one that he did yesterday. Here is
something about what Islam.
Andrew Tate's tweet, and this is why it comes
something about Palestine
up in the context of marriage. Again, he is telling you an immutable.
Or is it just another provocative bait post that you're falling for after like 3 years of him doing
truth must be exploded. That immutable truth is the fundamental good and necessity of family. Quote: Dear white men, you're
dude, he's turned into a fucking feminist. White men,
you're being replaced because none of you have children. Okay, so again,
oh my god, he's pandering to fucking. Dude, he's pandering to the racist. Right now, if you go on Twitter, this is why I had to like stop. I was browsing it a little bit. It's really racist. All over Twitter, there are talks about like illegal asylum seekers going over to other countries, raping everybody. That's what the conversation is. Now, I don't know what the statistics are, but here's the problem, is that there might be a problem with violence when it comes to migrants coming into other countries. You know, I don't know. That's fine if there is, and it's not something that it's something to call out. But what's happening is that they're showing it to people so much that you think that it's a bigger issue than it is, and you start to hate other migrants who are not causing crimes or not causing problems, right? And so this sounds like an appeal to people who have some brain worms, some brain parasites. They're feeling racist. That's what this is. It's an appeal to them. It's an appeal to them and their fears, and it riles them up additionally. It's not particularly productive. Thank you for the $5, DJ Trey. Why the fuck did I get that wrong? Hello, Rich of Retech USA. Skibbity, bop, bop, boom. To your brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I hope I didn't just fuck that up. But that's life.
Even within this tweet, he is saying a couple of things. One, all transgressive, some true, some false. One, Western societies are not reproducing a replacement rate. That's a very bad thing. We've talked about that on the show a lot.
Yeah, we're not. I don't think it necessarily matters. Western society is something you could teach people. So, yeah. I mean, yeah.
It is why, for example, family is necessary. But he goes further because, of course, this is his game. To say many transgressive things, some true, some false. Quote, dear white men, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Even those of you about the replacement online, like little girls, don't find the gumption to F. I see white men bragging about having 5 kids as if it's an achievement. LOL. 5? LOL. Per year, right? Oh, all you white boys lost control of your women. He's a genius. Y-O-U. Apostrophe R-E. All
you are women, baby. I guess he's trans affirming.
White boys lost control of your women, and now they won't accept multiple wives anymore. Now they tell you they don't want any more kids.
Well, I don't really need multiple wives to have more kids. Okay, I was a little too slow there. You don't really need multiple wives to have kids. It's just about having multiple kids. And people are having less kids for a lot of reasons in first world countries, Western countries, we call them. Part of it is like a financial burden. It's difficult to have kids, and on top of the fact that people are intelligent, right? So they try to make financially intelligent choices. So when you're decently educated and you don't have enough money, or at least you feel like you don't have enough money, you're not going to want to have kids as soon. You're going to try to prepare to have kids, right? That's obviously a factor. Another factor is women working. It is. You know, women working, a lot of times they'll put their career on hold they'll put their desire to have kids on hold. That's absolutely a truth. And we have to adjust for that. Like, how do you adjust for that? We could probably implement some kind of programs or services that would make it more appealing for women to have kids, you know, some kind of universal health care, or so that it's cheaper to actually give birth to babies. Some kind of universal preschool, something, get a better support when you stay out of work for a period of time, whatever. I forgot what it's called. Baby insurance? Pregnancy insurance? I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you know what I'm talking about. There's different things that you would need to implement. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing for people to want to have babies more at greater rates. I think another problem is people are fat. I mean, it's hard to have kids when you're fat. You know what I mean? I'm fat. I know. I'm not insulting fat people. I'm just, it's a fucking fact. It's a fact. It does make it difficult. So there's a multitude of reasons, and we really have to address them, you know. But yeah, one at a time, baby.
One's enough.
Childcare, yeah, maternity leave. Thank you. You didn't like baby insurance? You guys weren't vibing on baby insurance, bro? What the fuck?
Okay, again, just move the apostrophe. In any case, put aside the grammatical picayune concerns.
Okay.
Is they don't want to do their God-given job anymore. No, they want Instagram likes instead. So your genetic potential is stumped by the whims of some singular female. A female who takes 9 whole months to grow a single baby. Other races have multiple ovens for bread. We're not cucked. Some is screaming at you about loyalty, and you're sitting there saying, yes, baby, off to porn when she's asleep, or maybe cheating with a side condom on. Oh no, I couldn't get another woman pregnant. My wife would kill me. Total effing losers. Soon your race will be nothing more than a few pages in a history book.
This is great. This is actually funny. This is unhinged, man. What the fuck?
A lesson on what happens when you F the female psyche so hard, they're obsessed with money and social media, as opposed to being one of many baby factories for a king.
But I mean, doesn't Andrew Tate appeal to women that are obsessed with money? I don't understand how he's not being hypocritical here.
30 children minimum for the dons. White people, go talk to your best friend wife about what to do this weekend. Maybe you can take a nice walk around the IKEA. Enjoy extinction.
Yeah, I mean, IKEA is pretty nice. If IKEA is where I'm going to enjoy extinction, that's not too bad. Yeah.
Okay, so again, one true thing, many false things. One true thing. People need to be having more kids in Western civilization. The many false things. Marriage.
Sure. I mean, listen, I could see people why they'd want to say that if their specific motivation is because, like, Western civilization is the best. And it's better to maintain that civilization, and it takes a little bit of time. It takes a couple of generations to get other people on board with our civilization. Sure, I can agree with that. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, sure. But I mean, again, you're going to have to put in a little bit more work as a society to help support people having kids, you know? It's kind of a tough stance to take when you're a conservative that says we have to make sure that we have more Western babies because, you know, we don't want to be replaced in some capacity, and then be really against welfare programs because those welfare programs are what's going to incentivize the people to have kids. So you don't really get to have both. All right, you're either going to have to pay more taxes or have fewer Western babies. You're one or the other.
Is bad. Loyalty to your spouse is bad. Society can be built on men running around having sex with 30 women and having 30 kids per year. And this is the true measure of a man. And young men think of that like, wow, that sounds amazing. Because, of course, the male sex drive looks for various women.
It's fucking horny as hell, brother. I know that. I'm fucking gooning 24/7, baby. That's the great. How come people don't think about that? That's the fucking a man's greatest struggle, man. Is how fucking much you gotta jack off just to be, you know, normal, or you go crazy.
That is just the way that mammalian biology is built. Males seek to impregnate many females, and so that sounds great to a bunch of young men who are off to Andrew Tate's webcam business.
Well, I'm not jerking off to his webcam business. I'm jerking off to femboys. He doesn't have any of those, unfortunately. You think he would, considering Bottom G is a femboy, but you know that's life, brother.
It sounds amazing to them. That's also not how societies are built. But again, the idea is, and this is how you know it's a con, marriage is bad.
Con?
Right? He's actively saying that marriage is bad.
Marriage is gay.
Because if you're a person who has 5 kids, LOL. Now, Andrew Tate himself claims that he has double-digit kids.
Damn.
We've never met any of those kids. We don't know exactly.
Typical black father. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That's a joke, dude. That's a joke. That's a joke, bro. Edit that out. Over the line. I'm calling over the line for that one. Sorry, this is a terrible joke.
Who the moms are, maybe it's like a girlfriend in Canada, we don't actually know. But for those of us who do have, say, 4 kids, I have 4 kids, I've been married for 15 years.
Nice, dude. Nice. Is that pussy wet, Benjamin? You get that pussy wet, Ben? Don't clip that, please. Don't clip. Oh, shit.
4 kids. Double the replacement rate. You are, in fact, doing your societal job. And you should be doing that. But that can only exist. Functional children who are going to propagate good values, require a father in the home. See, here's the thing. If you knock up a bunch of ladies and you leave, you have created a generation of young men who are incapable of raising themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest problems right now, right? Is that there aren't that many fathers in the home. There's few. Bro, I just cornered myself. There aren't enough fathers in the home, right? Fathers teach young men how to be men, and fathers teach young women how to be treated by men. And when you don't have fathers in the home, I think it makes it difficult for I think that's why some women are willing to settle for shitty men that treat them like shit, and some men are shit. So
the effects of single motherhood in the United States are very well known. You're talking about higher levels of drug use, higher levels of crime, higher levels of poverty, higher levels of suicidal ideation. It creates actual pathologies. And that is what Andrew Tate is promoting, because he is a con artist.
Ooh,
and he's conning you into doing something. He is conning you into giving away the only pathway toward actual societal success and personal success in favor of his vision of a Genghis Khan-like spreading of his seed.
I don't know that he I don't know if he might have that vision. I think it's more of just him trying to appeal to like the male fantasy of like, you're the best in the whole, you're the greatest thing in the world. You know, which by the way is very real. Men have a fantasy of being like the best. Like a man wants to feel like he's the greatest thing. That's why if you're a woman and you want to know how to get to your guy, make him feel like he runs the world. You know, I think that one of the most intelligent and impressive things a woman can do is make a man feel like he's in control, right? And obviously, you know, you want to give him some control, but like make him feel like he's in control. Like sometimes when there's a decision to be made that you don't really think matters that much, just let him make the decision, or let him feel like he made the decision. You know, you gotta manipulate your man a little bit, ladies. You got to make your man feel like a man. That's a good woman will make their man feel like a man. Stroke their ego a little bit. It's not a bad thing. It's smart.
We'll get to more on this in just a moment. First, $20 barely gets you anything these days. You can't even fill your gas tank for less than 20.
I can get a blowjob from a fucking toothless whore. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. But we're gonna skip past. There's too many. What?
So Andrew Tate got a lot of blowback for this, and then he plays the dumb game that is played on X all the time. The dumb game goes something like this. Again, it's such a gaslighting game. He's gonna say 2 things, both transgressive. 1 true, 1 false. Then when you attack the false thing, he is going to claim that you are attacking the true thing. So you say, yes, Western people need to have more babies, but that can exist only within the context of a religious family structure, which traditionally is how it's done. And so,
Or, you know what? Let's do polyamory, bro. Go for it.
my critique is that you are trash propagating that men should go screw around with 25 women, impregnate them, leave the babies to be left alone with no father, and then declare yourself a real man, oiled up and muscled. It's pathetic, actually.
Yeah.
It's degraded and pathetic.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, fuck my wife and make babies.
Yes, Andrew Tate is a kickboxer. Yes, Andrew Tate could kick my ass physically. Yes, Andrew Tate is not a real man if this is the kind of garbage that he propagates.
Sure, I guess I agree with that.
End of
I
story.
don't know why you had to make it clear that he could beat you up, but I think you got kind of horny thinking about it.
But the game here is that if you then attack the obviously cloddish and foolish part of what he is saying, then Andrew Tate says that you're attacking the true part of what he's saying. So here's a video that he released shortly in the aftermath of the blowback he received for this.
All right.
What's the chance of the white people kicking out all the people who aren't white from their countries?
Slim to none. Zero.
How many kids do you got? How many kids do all white people have?
It's interesting because it's so interesting because he's very, from at least what he said, he's against Israel, which, right? So by this logic, like what she's effectively saying is that white people should kick non-white people out of their country. Like, well, shouldn't Israel kick Palestinians out? Isn't that your logic? But of course, he's not like moral. He doesn't have any level of moral consistency. It's all a game to sell as many things as possible. It's just an appeal to people.
It's a path to extinction. Why are they mad at me for pointing that out? And then they're tough guys on Twitter because what they're really butthurt is because I said you don't control your women anymore, and they know it's true because the women go, I don't want a baby, I want Instagram likes. So they're really butthurt by that. So they're sitting there going, no, actually, we're gonna deport everyone. You're
We're not going to deport.
You're not gonna deport anyone.
You brave, big, talking people of England. You're going to deport the Prime Minister. You're going to deport the First Minister of Scotland. And the
They
Mayor of
rule
London.
you.
So again, what he is doing is he's misdirecting to a dumb critique of what he is saying, which is, well, we can
I think that it'll be fun when he's finally in jail. He's finally in prison. It'll be something else.
always deport all the... First of all, I'm not sure why you would deport people on the basis of race rather than ideology. I've gotten a lot of flack in particular circles for suggesting that race is not destiny, mainly because race is not destiny. That is the fundamental building block of any functional civilization, is that
Yeah, sure, I agree with that.
ideas are destiny. Race is not destiny. In any case, what Andrew Tate is doing there is he's attacking a dumb critique of what he is doing in order to avoid the culpability for saying something that is actually immoral and evil. Again, this is a person who literally says, on the one hand, that he prays that Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against Satan. On the other hand, he openly talks about having made millions of dollars scamming people through a webcam business, and now he scams people through Hustlers University. And also, you shouldn't get married and you should impregnate as many women
Hustlers University, Benjamin. Have you ever purchased this, dude? Is it working out? Is it any good?
as possible. Sounds super Christian. Slow clap for all the people who believe this garbage. Seriously. Okay, so this means that we have to now explain Andrew Tate's grift. He's gotten away with this for a very long time, and I'm sure he'll continue to get away with this.
Yeah, because you didn't call him out. Because people on the right rather not call him out. That's the whole fucking problem. You barely called him out at all. Like, we got away with it for a while. Yeah, because you're a pussy. That's why the whole fucking thing happened. Everybody else was calling him out. Now that he's pretty much like easy pickings, you're sitting here like, oh, yeah. You're fucking having a little crybaby meltdown. This is okay. Cool.
Certain segment of the population who really, really likes WWE kayfabe garbage. They really, really,
Oh, I love it.
really like
He's insulting people with Down syndrome, I think.
that Andrew Tate walks around his Romanian warehouse without a shirt. And that's like, wow, what a man. Okay, listen, if that's what floats your boat,
Ben, take your shirt off. I want to see.
enjoy spending $50 a month on Hustlers University to learn how to MLM for his social media presence. Fine. But don't pretend that this guy is standing for anything remotely like a functional society, virtue, or decency. He is standing for your money in his pocket so he can buy more luxury vehicles before his latest arrest.
It's kind of funny.
That is what he is actually standing for. Okay, so let's go through Andrew Tate's history a little bit here, because when he is talking to somebody of right-wing bent, he pretends to be sort of a traditionalist on matters of family and sex. And then immediately he'll turn around and he'll tweet something like this. And then we're all supposed to ignore it if you're on the right, or say that he's being ironical or something like that.
Yeah,
But
and you do. You ignore it. You're a coward, Benjamin. Benjamin, you're a coward. Stand up better.
the reality is this dude has made a lot of money over a lot of time by scamming people. So he started by making a lot of money
Scammer gets scammed.
off the sex industry. There's a person who says that he now stands for virtue and for the manly virtues. Can I tell you something that's not manly? Grooming women to get naked on camera for you to make money off of.
It's kind of based.
The ideal of masculinity
Manipulating women is kind of based. I'm just kidding. Am I right, guys?
is not being a pimp. Andrew Tate was a pimp.
Pimping ain't easy, my friend.
Not 10 years ago, very, very recently. As recently as 3 years ago. He was
What's the statute of limitations for pimps? You know what I'm saying, dude?
pimping women out on
I'm
webcam
gonna die.
while simultaneously declaring that young men are wasting their time and their virility on pornography. Agree, which is why I don't run a webcam business where I pimp out women. Who I get into the business
I don't think you have the backhand for it, Mr. Shapiro. I don't think you got the backhand for it, brother. I think that's the only reason why you're not running it.
By having sex with, which was Andrew Tate's entire method. He was explicating his method in 2020.
So yeah, on corporatetape.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is
Pimp and hose degree.
hose degree.
Clever. That's so clever, dude. I want you to put your cum in my anus and make a poop baby.
Clever. That teaches basically how I got girls.
What a class act.
How I met girls.
Clever.
How I got girls to like me. How I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got.
Ben Shapiro manipulates his wife into letting him stay up until 8:30. That's actually really good. I should start doing that with my wife. She tries to make me go to bed early.
Rich. I was all about trying to get paid. Like I used sex.
He kind of looks like a twink here. Andrew Tate looks a little bit like a twink here. It's kind of interesting.
As a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense. Like I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me.
True, dude. This guy's a fucking genius. He's a genius, guys.
There's the shtick. And so for a lot of young men who fantasize about having sex with good-looking women, this sounds amazing.
I have fantasized about having sex with horses.
Also, it makes you a complete piece of human debris. It makes you garbage if you act like this with regard to women.
True.
No matter how much sex you're
such a defender of women, man.
Having with randos off the Instagrams. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First, there is nothing like sitting in the orchestra section.
Are you fucking kidding me with all the goddamn ads, Ben? This is insane. The amount of ads. We're fucking 3 ads in.
Related to his...
It's like watching TV shows 20 years ago. You guys wouldn't get it.
Webcam business, and he runs Hustlers University, which is where you learn. So before, you learned from him in his pimping hose degree. You learned how to make lots of money without actually doing any work by having sex with women and then convincing them to take off their clothes for the prurient interests of other men.
Hey, listen, if a woman's dumb enough to have sex with me, then she deserves to be manipulated. That's the way I look at it, you fucking dumb idiot woman, you know? You know what I'm saying?
On the internet.
I'm kidding.
Well, now he's moved on to bigger and better things. Hustlers University, where he promises he's going to teach you how to make tons of money. All you have to do is pay him $50 a month, and he's going to teach you how...
Hey, you gotta spend money to make money, baby.
It's like marriage is a scam, and he's going to help you see through it by taking the red pill. It turns out that all of industry can be cracked by going on Hustlers University, where he will teach you all the money-making secrets.
I knew it.
Now, the reality is that there is no actual quote-unquote secret to making money. If you want to make a lot of money in this life, you have to do 3 things, okay?
You gotta be white. You gotta be strong. You gotta be cool. You gotta be wiser. And white helps. Not 100%. You know, if you want to be like a professional athlete, it doesn't. But outside of that, it's very helpful if you're a white guy. You know, you usually will grow up in you usually grow up in an easier area. You know, just easier starting zone.
That's it. You want to make a lot of money in this life. Find the thing that you like to do, the thing that people are willing to pay you for, and the thing that you are good at.
What if I'm only good at grooming women into doing webcam porn?
You find those 3 things, you will end up making a lot of money. Wow. If you find 2 of those 3 things, you might be happy without making a lot of money, or you might be unhappy without making a lot of money. But that's it. Okay? You have to find something you like to do, something you're good at. I mean, you have to develop an actual skill set, which requires time and attention and investment and
investments. That's exactly what I need.
Real focus on detail. And you have to find something people want from you. So it can't just be making mud pies in the backyard. It has to be something that appeals.
Well, maybe people want that.
To other human beings.
I mean, there's probably some attractive girls that can sell their mud pies, you know?
Want to pay you for that thing, which can be difficult too. You have to find a market, right? There is no dirty secret to making a lot of money quick. Okay, this is Andrew Tate's equivalent of, hey guys, have you ever heard about the day trading? So CoffeeZilla, who is an excellent YouTube account, he does.
Whoa, we're doing a CoffeeZilla reference here. Holy garbanzo beans!
Good job debunking all of these sort of online scams. He did a.
That is true. That's interesting though that Ben Shapiro referenced CoffeeZilla.
Full-scale investigation into Hustlers University. Here's a little bit of what he found, and part of it, by the way, is that.
How new is this?
One of the ways that Andrew Tate goes viral on social media so often is because part of his get-rich-quick scheme for people is that they have incentive structures so that you tweet out videos or send out videos on social media about how wonderful Andrew Tate is.
The program he runs is called Hustleversity, where he teaches
Must have been an old video, no?
you how to make fast money if you'll only pay $50 a month.
Not bad, dude.
And one of these fast money methods turns out to be selling Hustleversity to new
I'm pretty sure this video is old as hell. CoffeeZilla looks like a child here.
People by posting clips of him, Andrew Tate. And because of this, it kind of created this
Andrew Tate
pyramid scheme where there was a flood of TikTok videos and biased reviews saying that Andrew Tate is the one true savior that will save you from poverty. He's basically Morpheus from the Matrix, and that's not even me calling him that. He calls himself that.
I get called Morpheus a lot. We are living inside of the Matrix, and I am Morpheus.
He says he wants to wake you from your mental prisons, all by selling you a program that sounds like what high school dropouts used to put as their education status on Facebook. Attended the School of Hard Knocks and graduated Hustleversity with a PhD.
Is that real? Wow, me too, man.
Wait, you're a doctor? No, that's the pimping hose degree, which is something, by the way, I didn't make up. It's a course that Andrew Tate himself sells.
It's pretty base, dude. It's pretty cool. Could you imagine being excited and telling your friend that you signed up for the pimping hose degree and like that's your big sell point because you just think that's so cool. It's so cool that he said that. You know, it's like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
But I don't think you want to take advice from someone who's in the middle of a human investigation. I joined this month and have been going through the classes, which is basically all of the same boring topics all of these guys teach about making money. It's all the most surface level stuff. He assigns a so-called professor to each skill, and all of this takes place inside of Discord servers. And so in these chat rooms where your instructors have a fraction of the charisma.
This guy is one of the instructors for Hustlers University. That's interesting. That's so interesting. I wonder if I could sign up.
Of Tate, you're supposed to commit yourself to these skill sets, which are super surface level because, of course, this all appeals to the lowest common denominator men who think,
Jesus, not nice, dude. I purchased it.
Answers can come from TikTok videos. And this is where it starts to hit you as you're scrolling through Discord threads that this kind of was all a big bait and switch. I mean, think about it. You've been told you're going to escape the Matrix. You're going to take the red pill. But what you end up doing in this course,
I just take a Tylenol. It's half red and half blue.
is sort of learning how to run an Amazon side hustle for Jeff Bezos.
So that's the game. The only person who makes real money off of this is Andrew Tate. So just how rich is Andrew Tate? Because again, his entire shtick is based on the idea that he is, in his own personage, uber male. He is the ideal male. He's having sex with beautiful women. He's got Bugatti. He's got luxury cars. And that's why you should ignore marriage. That's why you should.
You think that Ben's wife was like, he's kind of hot. And then she's like, oh, we got to do something about this. We got to go after this guy all of a sudden.
Get married. That's why you should sign up for Hustlers University and pay him money, is because he is the ideal. Again, it's always a grift. When someone tells you that a time-tested truth is false and they know the real secret and they have no evidence of this, that's a grift. This is a grift, and people have fallen for the grift.
Isn't selling prostitution a time-tested, isn't that time-tested too, Ben?
By the tens of thousands. I don't say by the millions because it's not true. Okay, now let's talk about Andrew Tate's actual level of wealth. Did you know a baby's heart begins to beat at just 3 weeks?
Oh my God, I had no idea. Oh, that's why you shouldn't abort them. Donate to don'tfucking.gov/organization. Incredible.
And say keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby.
Damn, that's out of context. Sounds almost like you want to fuck kids. But I know you don't, Ben. I know that you don't, dude.
So, just a few months ago, Andrew Tate tweeted out, this is September 2023, with, of course, the obligatory picture.
Would you rather say people should prioritize physical fitness or nutrition? You probably should prioritize nutrition, but fitness is more fun. Working out's more fun, bro.
Of himself working out shirtless. Quote, for 5 months, they locked me in my house. During that time, I developed a simple routine. Wake up, garden, laptop, and weights. Make a minimum of $300,000 and do a minimum of 10,000 reps.
Yeah, he obviously didn't do that. That would be like complete muscle exhaustion to the point where you couldn't recover. I know he likes to pretend that he had a real rough time when he was in prison or whatever, but he didn't. It was fucking perfectly fine. I don't believe that he had like a tough time in there. I just don't. He came out still looking pretty muscular. You can't maintain that level of weight without keeping up your steroid usage and your fitness and your nutrition. Yeah. He just grew his hair out so he could make it seem like he had a bad time in there.
A new ice cold water every 20 minutes. A new coffee every 1.5 hours. That's a lot of time spent peeing, I'd imagine. 8-hour shifts, usually 11 till 7. Chefs have dinner on the table at 8. I eat my only meal of the day with the soldiers in my house because he leads, of course, a true army in Romania from a warehouse. Then,
I thought it was because he was locked in prison.
Discuss and smoke cigars,
right?
Shisha. Usually 11, every 1.
Oh, they locked him in his house. Okay, I misinterpreted that. My bad. Still, I don't agree. I disagree. I don't disagree with what I said.
0.5, have dinner on the table at 8. I eat my only meal of the day with the soldiers in my house because he leads.
There's no way he eats one fucking meal a day. What? Okay, I don't care.
Of course, a true army.
I don't care.
In Romania from a warehouse.
I don't care, dude.
Then discuss and smoke cigars, Shisha, deep into the night.
Smoking ciggies.
And then he talks about how, he used to take time off and go to dinner and go shopping, but he felt bad because he wasn't doing enough reps and he was only making $280,000 a day instead of $300,000 a day. So if he actually were making $300,000 a day, that calculates out to about $110 million a year. That's a lot of money. That's like a lot of money. So how much money is Andrew Tate actually worth? We should ask these questions because after all, it is based on his projection of wealth. And so many people are falling for the lie that you can just dispense with time-tested wisdom like get married and have children and live a solid life in favor of absolute stupid waste of money like Hustlers University. So, remember that time that Tucker Carlson went and interviewed Andrew Tate and they marveled at his magical mansion in Romania?
Sure.
And this unbelievable mansion in Romania? Wow, huge complex in Romania. Okay, so I'm just going to point out that amazing...
You remember that time that Tucker Carlson let him lie about the details of his lawsuit?
mansion in Romania? It has a parking...
But you obviously can't break ties with Tucker. That'll destroy his entire image.
lot, and it's got some cars in it. Ooh. That mansion in Romania is not in the nice part of Romania. It's actually in kind of a garbage part of town. It's actually an industrial warehouse he bought for $700,000 and made over, according to the New York Post. They asked Andrew Tate for comment, no comment.
Okay, cool.
How about his other wealth? The UK Guardian did a look into this. They said Tate says he owns a chain of 15 casinos and that they earn him $1 million a month. Apparently not, according to the company records in Bucharest. We search high and low and find no evidence he owns a single casino. It's tough to find out how much Tate's Romanian companies are actually worth. We can find
That's not going to convince his audience. Whether he does or doesn't own them is like almost irrelevant because he'll just be like, "Oh, I have him under some other person's name because I'm not stupid." Blah blah blah. He easily maintains the grift there.
tax returns for only one. Talisman Enterprises, listed as a web portal business. That has 1.2 million pounds of debt. Oh, the Guardian asked him for comment, by the way. No comment. Also, you'll recall a video of Andrew Tate giving a tour of his fantastic castle, supposedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars, this unbelievable castle. Here's a little bit of this incredible video of his castle. He's walking through the doorways of the castle. And this, of course, means that all of his advice about life, such as treat women like absolute trash, that's the way you should do it. Because
that's a cozy little summer home.
Obviously, he owns a castle. An only very rich man, a very successful, masculine kind of man, owns a castle. There's only one problem. He doesn't own the castle. According to the tab, Andrew Tate's castle is an Italian hotel in Umbria, 2 hours away from Florence. Hotel.
That's actually very funny. That makes sense. There's a lot of these like weird influencers who'll be like, "Oh, I own this car," but they'll rent it out from like obviously a car renting service, just so that they could say that they have it. That's kind of funny though. I like that.
Castello di
That's smart, bro.
Reccio is a boutique luxury hotel owned and operated by Count Benedict Bolsha and his wife, Donna Nencia.
Oh, old Benny boy.
They lived in the dilapidated castle and raised their 5 children before architect Benedict redesigned the building into a hotel in 2021. You can see pictures of the hotel.
Maybe he owns the hotel, Ben. Have you ever considered that, stinky boy?
His parents continue to live on the estate. There's no evidence Tate owns any part of the Italian family's estate. How much does it actually cost? Well, if you decide that you want to stay there for a night, then you are going to spend about $950 a night.
Damn.
So
it's kind of expensive. What the fuck was that? This goddamn Disney hotel.
For just $950, you too can pretend to own a giant castle in Romania and then sucker a bunch of dispossessed young men into believing that you hold the secret to wealth creation. So how much is he actually worth? According to the Daily Mail, June 2023, when Romanian authorities arrested him, they actually did a rundown on his wealth, and here's what they found.
He's just going to say he hid assets if he ever responded to this point. It doesn't really matter to him.
Quote, despite the influencer previously claiming to be a trillionaire, a press release from Romania's anti-organized crime prosecution unit, DICOT, suggested Tate's true fortune was more likely around 10 million pounds, which is
wow, good for him, I guess.
about $12.5 million in today's dollars. As part of the indictment, prosecutors ordered the confiscation of luxury assets from the Tate brothers, including 15 high-value cars, 14 luxury watches, and about
high-value car, high-value men.
About 440,000 pounds held in cryptocurrency, according to the agency's statement. So, Andrew Tate has some money. Is he beyond the world wealthy, such that you should explode thousands of years of human knowledge about things like marriage and how to properly treat women and how to build?
Ben, how much is Ben Shapiro worth? That's what I'm curious. Ben Shapiro, that's worth. Let's see what this motherfucker is worth. $50 million. Holy goddamn. Wow. Ben's fucking stacked, bro. How the fuck hey, we got to get that money, baby. Chase that paper, baby.
Build a civilization? I think not, because the grift is the grift is the grift. So just to sum up, when it comes to Andrew Tate's idea of true manhood, the thing that you should emulate by getting rid of fundamental human institutions like marriage so as to impregnate as many women as possible in preservation of the white race, which is what he literally tweeted yesterday. Here is his idea of manhood. Convincing men.
I wonder how much of Ben's audience is like eating this up, because I feel like there's probably some people in Ben's audience that are like resonating with the message of like, wow, yeah. Like that's true. We do need to preserve the white race. I would not doubt it. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I mean, you stayed away from criticizing Tate for such a long time. I could see it happening.
Away from the only human institutions that have ever driven happiness. Having sex with a wide variety of women, impregnating them, and then abandoning your children.
Based. Sounds like the life to me, baby. I'm just kidding.
Exploiting women for money by having them pose
I'm just in a cranky mood today.
naked on camera and then making money off of them, which makes you a pimp. Lying about your wealth.
Pimp and hose degree, baby.
buying luxury vehicles and making over cheap Romanian real estate so that you appear significantly wealthier than you are, so people will think that you actually are a deeply successful human being who has started a real business rather than, a scam. And of course, just to top it off, talking about how you can beat people up physically and walk around shirtless and smoke a cigar, which good for you, dude. Good for you. Turns
Do you even inhale the cigar? I do. Only real men inhale cigars.
out there are a bunch of dudes in jail who can do the same exact thing. So, Andrew Tate, why does all this matter? Because
Real men inhale their cigars, guys. Keep that in mind. My dad told me that before he died of lung cancer.
the
Incredible.
onlines have warped people's brains. They've warped people's brains. On the left, you have the New York Times, fully legacy media publications pushing the idea that marriage is over, family is over. You need a
They just did a poly thing. It was a fucking article. You got clickbaited in the article there, Ben.
polycule. What you need is the Communist Manifesto brought to life.
Bro, one of my taste buds is fucking like bursting and it hurts so goddamn bad. It's pissing me off so fucking much.
You need genderqueer polycules in order to really fix society's
yeah,
problems.
dude.
And on the right, you have grifters who are willing to take advantage of the collapse of traditional religion
Give me
in order
that
to fill in that gap
polycule.
with scams where they maximize their own earning potential and their own exposure. And all it takes is a few well-placed paid operatives on the social media platforms in order to maximize your exposure, and then people will believe you're much more successful than you are. In reality, there is no easy path to success. There is no easy path to societal building. There is no easy path. But there are paths that work. And those paths include things like get married and have kids with a good woman if you're a man, or with a good man if you're a woman. They include things
Give her that wet ass P word too, you know what I'm saying?
like go to church. Like, don't just proclaim
That's true. Real men will swallow the entire cigar whole.
You
No, I agree
love
with
a
that,
particular
man. I agree
religion
with you
on the
on that.
interwebs and then never go to church. Go to actual church
Oh, we're
and
gonna
involve
have to
yourself in
get fucking-
actual community building. Do that. Get a skill set. Cultivate that skill set. Spend long hours doing things for free to cultivate that skill set. Get good
Sounds kind of cringe.
at it and then market it to people who want to trade their good products and services to you for your goods, products, and services.
Okay.
These are the pathways to success. There's nothing easy about it. It's all
Guys, all you need to do is be fat, play video games while you watch videos of Ben Shapiro on the internet, and then post them up. Post them up, baby. Hell yeah.
also the only path to actual life success
Hell
and fulfillment
yeah.
and happiness. And anyone who promises you the cheat code is lying to you.
They're lying.
All right,
to
in just
you.
1 second, we'll get to the latest.
Brouhaha
over at
What's
NPR.
the new ad, you son of a bitch?
First, behold, the iconic leftist tears Tumblr is back. You see.
All right, guys, we got a Tumblr. All right, I miss Tumblr, but they got rid of it. All the porn is gone.
Or is biased to the left. You're not supposed to say this, even though it's perfectly obvious to everybody. So, according to NPR,
Okay,
it can't. Join right now as we fight the left and build the future at dailywireplus.com. Okay, meanwhile, as it turns out, the thing that you can't say at NPR is that NPR is biased to the left.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. But here's the thing, okay? Because like, I'm gonna just be real with you. And there obviously are issues, you know, with every political party. But the reason I would imagine why NPR is biased to the left is because there's a lot of left-leaning people who work there, and it's because people who are smarter tend to gravitate towards left-leaning ideologies. I don't know what to tell you. All right, that doesn't mean that they're perfect, right? Sometimes being too smart can be, you know, not a good thing. But I mean, when you look at the state of the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, as much as maybe they both aren't ideal, the Republican Party is certainly less ideal. So I could see why people would be, I can see why that would be a thing. So, but okay.
You're not supposed to say this, even though it's perfectly obvious to everybody.
Great news pop out. They brought porn back. It wasn't even gone that long, honestly. Oh, that's crazy. I never used to use it, so I don't really care. But that's good news, man. That's good news. I just like, yeah, cool. All right, maybe I'll take a look at it.
So, according to NPR itself, NPR has formally punished Uri Berliner, the senior editor who publicly argued a week ago that the network had, quote, lost America's trust by approaching news stories with a rigidly progressive mindset. Berliner's
That's probably fair. You know, you got to make sure that you're trying to make, you have to make it be palatable in your message, right? You got to make sure that you're palatable in your message and your ability to, you know, deliver that message. So,
5-day suspension without pay, which began last Friday, has not been previously reported. The reason that they're mad, of course, is because this particular NPR employee said the obvious truth about NPR, that they are not to be trusted because they are far to the left and their agenda is apparent in everything they do. And
their agenda. They want to fucking shit on kids' balls or something. What's the agenda though, then? Like, what's the specific agenda? I'm a little confused.
by the way, it's still publicly funded. Well, if
True
you actually
that.
wish to earn back the trust of Americans, what you wouldn't do is suspend Berliner. What you would do is maybe not have hired Catherine Marr, who's the new chief executive. NPR is treating her as a victim. They say conservative activist Christopher Rufo, who, by the way, don't get on Christopher Rufo's bad side, I think is the moral of this story, is among those now targeting NPR's new chief executive. She's targeted. What a brutal life it is to be an NPR executive who is having her tweets reviewed. Among others, those posts include a 2020 tweet that called
What the hell does that mean?
Donald Trump
Oh, her old tweets are being like reviewed.
racist, and another that appeared to minimize rioting during social justice protests that year.
Okay.
Maher took the job at NPR last month, her first at a news organization at all. In a statement, she said, quote, "In America, everyone is entitled to free speech as a private citizen. What matters is NPR's work and my commitment as its CEO, public service, editorial independence, and..."
I'm not understanding what makes her so bad because she said Trump was racist. Okay. He said some wild shit. I could see why people would think he's racist. Again, I think that he's a New Yorker. I think he's just a New Yorker. He just says some dumbass shit very plainly, and he doesn't understand that he has to communicate more intelligently as the fucking president of the United States. But yeah, I mean, I could see why people would call him racist, saying some wild shit about fucking Hispanic people coming across the border. That's what happens.
and the mission to serve all of America's public. NPR is independent, beholden to no party, and without commercial interests. Sure. So I just want to point out exactly what Catherine Maher has said in the past. Again, if you wish to earn back the trust of Americans, what you don't do is hire somebody like Catherine Maher. But the truth is that when you read Catherine Maher's tweets, there's really only one appropriate way to do it. And that's to apparently get really high and read it like beat poetry. So we're going to skip the part where we get really high, but we are going to read it like beat poetry because her tweets read like beat poetry. She sounds like a Berkeley sophomore who has discovered pot for the first time and just read a little bit of Noam Chomsky.
Sounds kind of like a cool guy.
That is what she sounds like.
Is this the end of Ben Shapiro? Is this the end of Andrew Tate? Thank you for the $5, Conrad Corball. I can't listen to men who can't fight scorpions. That's why I only trust in popular. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm a fucking scorpion slayer.
So here we go. Let's get the sound in here and let's do some deep thoughts from Catherine Maher, the brand new CEO of NPR, one of the biggest news outlets in America, funded with your taxpayer dollars. My brothers and I had some deep talks. We're each over 30 with real jobs and deep discomfort about what it would mean to bring a child into a warming world.
Okay. I mean, here's my thing. That's probably a fine thought to have, but I just don't know why you needed to tell us on the internet. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need to tell us all your fucking shower thoughts on the internet. You don't need to, because the problem is that this person, that thought is like fine. If you're kind of sitting there and like, yeah, I'm kind of afraid for the future, because this is how I interpret it, like a normal person. If you're sitting there like, yeah, I'm a little afraid for the future, because, you know, the world is kind of getting fucked and it is getting warmer, and I wonder how that's going to have like an adjustment. Global warming is real. What's that adjustment going to be like for my kids? That's a fair thing to think. But saying it like that on the internet in that way, it just kind of sounds like you're looking for internet brownie points. It just kind of comes off as very cringe. You know, so I think that was probably the bigger issue.
That's from March 26, 2019. Here's one from 2011. With Elizabeth Warren running, there's
2019? That was a long time ago. Who gives a shit what they had to say back then?
Finally a candidate for Dems to get excited about in 2012. Here's one from 2012. Agenda for today: put on a dress, meet some senior officials, boss it in a man's world, critique the politics of representation, Scotch.
All these tweets are like at least 5 to 10 years old. Why do I give a shit about anything that he said then? I was saying the fucking N-word in video game chats. Like, I'm not 10 years ago. Well, actually, I'm 34. More than 10 years ago. Sorry. But you understand my point, right? We've all made significant changes, okay? Ben, you made a whole video about your wife not getting her pussy wet. You couldn't make her vagina wet. Remember that? Okay, so like, let's all move on a little bit from that far ago, okay?
2019. Always trust structural privilege to show itself. She's like a Kamala Harris fortune cookie over here. This is one of my favorites. This is from 2019. Quote, anyone else love watching the credits at the end of a movie or show just to marvel at the diversity of names and surnames involved?
No, that sounds really stupid. I leave the theater unless I feel like I'm forced to watch. Because sometimes I'll stay in the theater. Sometimes I do stay in the theater. I'm not going to lie. Because I think there might be a post-credit scene. But I don't watch the names. It's boring.
Always gives me happy goosebumps to see the world scroll by.
I don't say anything. I don't type in like general chat or anything anymore in video games. Because I know myself. I'll usually mute if I play like a competitive game. Thank you, Hero, for the £2. Hi, Papa. Just wanted to say love the gaming stream. I thank you. I intend to do more of those.
Okay, literally no one. No one has ever watched the credits on a Marvel movie and been like, wow, look at the racial diversity in those names. Here's from 2016. This is when she was a racial justice hero. Quote, for the record, I don't usually fly business class. Just bored past it on the way to the back of the bus. She's like Rosa Parks' gang on the way to the back of the bus in commercial class. And finally, 2017. I'm in Canada today where the sun is shining. Healthcare is functional. Facts are real. And no one is about to be imminently annihilated. That was 2017. I noticed the calendar now says 2024 and no one was actually annihilated. I lied. There's one more that I have to include here. This is from 2018. And it's a handwritten note from her. Kind of like Taylor Swift's latest lyrics. Quote, what would a feminist internet look like? What would a black internet look like? Wow.
Probably a lot of rap. Probably a lot of rap and hairstyle and beauty tips.
Haven't thought about that. By the way, she says, it's so strange to be called a Biden supporter. I'm a supporter of human rights, dignity, and justice. She's just one of the good people.
All right, so this person's very cringe. Okay, what's the point? Who cares?
Yes, probably that's it. Probably that person should be the head of NPR to restore their reputation for objective credibility. That's, I think, the key message here. Suspend the guy who points out that they're a far-left organization. Make sure to protect the lady.
I wonder if there's more context to that. I don't really care enough to look at it. Like, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't be so lazy. But
Who tweets like that. Again, like a Berkeley sophomore who just discovered the pot stash. Well done. Okay, meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to walk around confused. The Roomba of the president, as Shane Gillis has said, that just doesn't stop. The world is falling apart, and so is Joe Biden. Here he was yesterday getting confused in Pennsylvania.
Oh, there he is. President Joe Biden.
Man, here he comes down the stairs. I swear, every time that dude goes downstairs, you're like holding your breath.
I'm surprised that motherfucker goes downstairs that clean. Most people in his age would probably, their knees have been hurting. I walk down the stairs in more pain than this guy. It's a little bit impressive.
Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it?
I wouldn't.
He's on, they let him take the short stairs now because he's confused. Where am I going? I don't know. Dude, you have to finish going down the stairs first. That's where you're going. There's literally no directions. You're in the middle of the staircase. And he's like, where do I? Down, Joe. Down the staircase. That wasn't the only episode of Joe Biden becoming randomly confused yesterday. Here he was getting even more confused.
You know, thanks to the mayor, Paige, excuse me, I was going to talk about the old mayor.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Most of this is just Biden's getting old, which is true. Let's get somebody younger. All right. Well, that was something.